Well, hey guys, how is everyone? How are you doing? Oh my goodness, what's up? So Eric sent me a message and asked if I would help run or if I would run today's mastermind. So I said, yeah. So I'm here. How are you guys doing? It's been a while, I feel like, since I've seen some of you. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, everyone's coming on now. Yay. Okay, cool. So you're excited. Good. I'm glad Whitney's excited. That excites me. So I love you. So that doesn't shock me. Hello. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things that have been working really well for me in general. And then, of course, I guess I'll leave some time for some questions and stuff like that. I just came off like the craziest weekend of my life, I feel like. So I was shocked he asked me to talk because I feel hungover from my event this last weekend, but I guess that means did something right. So that's not what I'm going to talk about today, but you guys can ask questions around that if you want. So I do want to talk about how I have determined that what we really have to do this year, and I guess we've talked a lot about it actually over the last couple of months in this next level mastermind, is recruiting just has to increase. I don't know if that's a common thread in your organization or if it just has to do with our organization, but that was something that a couple of months ago, I just said, look, if the only person in the team, and by only person in the team, obviously that's a very large globalization. I'm not the only one recruiting. But when I'm recruiting as much in a month as like half the team combined, there's definitely some kind of recruiting issue. Granted, I'm a strong recruiter. So I started brainstorming ideas that were going to help with changing that, because if it's not going to come from a corporate standpoint, it has to come from someone in the field who wants to lead that. And so that in that case, of course, would be me. And so I just kind of came up with this. I didn't come up with, well, I realized, I should say, that if we can get more people recruiting, it's going to fix the selling. And so I came into network marketing at an interesting time. For those of you that don't know, I joined in 2015. That was when I joined my first company. And so 2015, if you do the mathematics, that is when FTC shut down VEMA. That is when that whole you need to get a bajillion customers and stop trying to recruit scenario hit the ground running. And since I had come from a party plan background, it was easy for me. I was like, cool. So we're just going to get a ton of customers, and then we're also going to recruit. And that's going to be the way that network marketing works. So the problem with that, I think, is, in my opinion, we swung really, really heavy on customers as an overall thing, which is not bad, but I would like to bring back the business builders. So I came from direct sales, Colton. So I came from a company that if you sold product, it was 50% you would get 50% commissions. At lowest, if you come in, it's like 40%. And so the residual does not exist really. Doesn't exist, but not like in a network marketing, we're going to have, like 10 levels or something like that. There was also no compression. So it was almost like without saying that recruiting is not what you want to do in the direct sales company I was with. And in general, it seems like that was just not where the money was. There was no long-term, let me build this for 20 years, and then I'm going to have potentially this large passive income or residual income or anything like this. So like how I'm guessing most of our companies have compression, where let's say like you recruit somebody, they don't do anything. They recruit somebody, they don't really do anything, but this person does something, and it kind of like bumps up to your first level, which is really, really, it's super common in network marketing. There's nothing like that. So as an example, when I had my sales team in my direct sales company, it was, yeah, and that's amazing, Beth. And of course I haven't been part of that for like 8 years. So things I was very happy to hear have changed. But in my case, my move to network marketing was because it was like 4%, 2%, 1% with no compression. So anyway, and maybe that's changed entirely. So I'm super excited about that. And that's that. So anyway, whole point being, this is not I am not the compensation plan girl. So we're not going to tear apart people's comp plans or anything like that. I think the best compensation plan is the one you build, if you ask me. So, but I did have this big revelation probably about 18 months ago, that if I didn't double, triple, quadruple down on recruiting and make that the conversation that our team really spent a lot of time around, we were going to end up having a lot of issues down the road. And so we have seen some contraction for sure in 2022 towards the end, and also 2023. Now we're starting to rebuild in the right direction. Nothing dramatic, but enough for me to go, oh, hell no. And so that is when I just went into things have to change mode. And so a couple couple systems I would like to share that have been working really well. I'll start with the best one, I don't know, just get it out of the way, maybe impress you guys with my knowledge. I'm kidding. Oh, I'm supposed to introduce myself. I shouldn't have assumed people knew me. I'm sorry. That was like, okay, or let me back this up. Hi, I'm Jessie Lee Ward. And I have been, who am I? What the hell? All right. I am a professional network marketer. I've been in network marketing since 2015, but an entrepreneur since 2011. So I just actually had my 12-year anniversary. So January 7th was my 12-year anniversary of entrepreneurship. Started when I was 22. I had pretty quick success right away. My hunger was undeniable. I was sick and tired of working in a lab and feeling super underappreciated, and also where obviously my income was capped. So I found direct sales, network marketing, etc. From a Google search. I Googled at-home businesses that make the most money. I needed $300 to pay rent. The rest is kind of history, from really probably breaking every single rule and policies and procedures unintentionally. I just didn't read them. My first year, I made $55,000 in direct sales. And I was obviously very, very hooked, stayed in that company for 4.5 years. And then I found network marketing in 2015 from an Instagram cold message. Funny enough, because I hate cold messages, but somebody DM'd me and said, "Hey, I see you posting your sales on your Facebook wall, and I'm pretty sure you would be making $1 million a year if you were doing network marketing." And I went, "Oh my God." 9 days later, I joined my first network marketing company, which this is a tip for you guys, because I ended up picking my first network marketing company without knowing anything about network marketing. And something I want all of us to do is get better at sharing our accolades in our social media, because I would never have found my first company if it wasn't for what I had specifically looked for. So what I had specifically looked for, because somebody had told me that I could make $1 million a year, I started looking for things in people's LinkedIn's, in Facebook's. Instagram wasn't really a thing. And then Google searches of $1 million earners, 7-figure earner, top earner, anything like that in people's bios. So it'd be really useful if you guys kind of look over what your profile actually says about you. And I know for some of you, you are super extra humble and you don't talk about anything publicly, really. People have no idea you're successful. They don't know you're number one in your company. They don't know that you know how to do the thing. Okay. And that's a problem, because that was what I started doing. Is I didn't know any of you. I didn't know any network marketers. And so I just looked on their social media profiles, and then I reached out and I asked if I could schedule a call with them. And by doing that, I ended up on a phone call with a lot of names that if I started saying them, you would definitely know them. And in those and I'm friends with some of these people now too. And they're like, "Oh my God, I fumbled you." I'm like, "I know, it's okay." But I started making these phone calls because people said that they were making 7 figures. And I was really shocked at how many people didn't really know what they were talking about. A lot of people I don't know that I knew I could make 7 figures a year. So this is a true story. A question that I would ask every single one of these top earners was, I would say, "Well, how do I make 6 figures? How long does it take to make 6 figures? What do I need to do?" And the amount of, I don't know, that people told me made me feel really empowered. I was like, if these people are making $1 million a year and they don't know how their compensation plan works, I'm definitely going to make $1 million a year. And so it was actually a really liberating moment for me. But I just want you guys to make sure you're paying attention to how you're branding and marketing yourselves. Even if you're a little bit more on the shy side, maybe you can ask a friend of yours or a business partner of yours to help write your bio. I think it's something that's really underrated, and I wouldn't have found my way to network marketing if it weren't for all of those little Google searches, LinkedIn searches, and Facebook searches. Now, of course, you need to start considering your TikToks. You need to consider what your Instagram looks like and what's on brand for you. But that was really how I found my way into network marketing. Then I had an upline who did recruit me in my first network marketing company, who said, "You have to go to this GoPro event." And I said, "No, I don't." And he said, "Yes, you do." And I said, "I don't want to." And he said, "Look, there's this 6-figure," what the heck was Eric's event called? What the heck is that event called? I always know what the event's called. Yeah, the six-figure summit. Thank you, Colton. He said, there's a six-figure summit. You made six figures last year. You can prove it. You need to go. I'm like, I'm not paying $750. Eric, I'm so sorry if you watch this replay, but this is, I swear what I said to him. I said, I don't want to listen to this fat, bald man. I don't know who he is. Sorry, fat, old, bald man. I love Eric now. So I'm just telling y'all the true story, okay? We can all become better people. I became a better person. But I went to this event. I did meet some of you. I sat next to Tony Zalecki at this event. I do remember. And that was when my whole entire flipping life changed because I realized what really could happen. And I realized you better shut your mouth, you stupid little obnoxious girl, because there are people here way better than you. And that old man knows what he's talking about. And so I became an aficionado of Eric Worre, obviously, and I allowed him to mentor me and coach me. I've never missed an opportunity or an event that he's put out. I spent $750 at that event, went to that GoPro, but then 9 months later went to Beyond Leadership and spent the $10,000 for that, joined the Mastermind immediately, joined everything immediately, and I will forever stay a student. So that is kind of my story. $1 million Hall of Fame, blah, 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 top earner, blah, 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 blah. Okay, hi. So now you know who I am, and let's get into some systems. Oh, I should say I've recruited a little over 11,500 personal recruits in my 12 years. I sell about $400,000 a month in personal sales, sometimes more, sometimes a tiny bit less, but always hovers around that 400,000 personal sales. And I love it. Okay. All right. So back to recruiting, because I like it. I realized that it was the same people over and over and over again recruiting on the team. You guys are probably noticing the same things in your company. And so I wanted to do something where I empowered people in all of the different personality types to want to recruit, because I realized the amount of times I tried to explain things like, this is where the money comes from. This is where the freedom comes from. This is where the real fun is. This is what it's so cool when you get to go to events and you have people with you. And I kept trying all these things. For some reason, it was the same, 40 people putting in multiple recruits. Everybody else is just kind of like, I don't know what they do. Like, I don't know what these people do, guys. I don't know what they do. Or people who are leaders, spending all this time as glorified coaches was also the other thing that I was noticing. And I wanted to have another edification point. And so what I came up with, and I really hope you all do this. And oh my gosh, Ina, look at that little nugget. She's so sweet. Little baby. This has worked incredibly well. We are now moving into month 4 of this, and the competition is hot, and it is working so well. I came up with a concept called the recruiting roundtable. Okay. So we came up, I don't know who we is, I guess me, myself, and I, my 3 personalities, but they're all lovely. And we came up with a recruiting roundtable. And so Rakan, don't maybe come to Toronto. Okay. It's too cold there right now. So you better watch yourself. But the recruiting roundtable is this. Basically, it is an exclusive group of every single person who meets the standard of the team. And the standard of the team is 5 personal recruits a month. So I actually chose a word of the year, which I don't think it's too late to do. It's only February 1st. So if you haven't yet chosen something like this, I think it's a great time to do so. We actually chose standards as our word of the year. So I didn't feel like I needed to apologize for being a little bit more directive. I didn't feel like I needed to apologize for some of the changes I made inside of our organization. I didn't feel like I needed to apologize for literally any of the standards that I wanted to start holding the team to. Oh, I love that, Sarah. So, or it could have been Tony who typed that, but I'm guessing, the 4 exclamation points is probably Sarah. So we set just a totally different standard. And the very first month we did the recruiting roundtable, I think it was like 15 people got 5 recruits, which was actually already a quite an increase. Usually it's probably 10 or something are getting 5 recruits, but even just by saying, hey, there's this exclusive group, you're going to have an exclusive call with me every week, which I no longer do weekly calls. We can talk about that in a little bit. But I took away a lot of stuff this year. So I said, it's this exclusive group. There's going to be exclusive incentives. There's going to be, and you're going to be part of, this inner circle for the recruiting roundtable. And by doing that and basically making that the new North Star metric instead of our normal core rank, it shifted core rank, which ends up being, you need, 4 customers and a certain amount of volume for customers into, let's focus on building the actual business. So even just that psychological shift, I noticed made a giant wave through the team. And then it started to edify all the right people, because I was getting really frustrated with people whose checks may be the largest on the team, spending all of their time in Zoom calls where basically they're just, this talking head. Meanwhile, I can see their sales, I can see their recruits, I can see that, quite frankly, their business is sliding backwards and is going to fall off of a cliff because their personal recruiting is non-existent. But I know that checks kind of can brainwash some of us for a while. We sometimes think we're better than we are, and we don't do the basics, etc. So the recruiting roundtable is the only call where I meet once a week. It is just it's a 20-minute call, but it always ends up being 30. Okay. So it's a 20-minute call, and it ends up just being a mastermind. So sometimes I will have, I always come in with some kind of really good, maybe story of a recruit I got that week, or maybe a little tactic or something that I'm like, hey, I tried this and it worked really, really well. Give this a go. Or, hey, I did this reel, I did this TikTok, this one blew up, or this, I've been using this language and this works really well. I will open it with that. And then these are all top recruiters with very different styles. So then they start sharing, and there are some of these people are flipping weapons, and they're on there. And the cool thing is, I've noticed that if you try to get top performers to train, being a good educator is not the same as being a good performer. Does that make sense? There are some people who are incredible at explaining how to do things, and there are some people who can only do the things. So I've asked before a top recruiter to come on and say, oh, hey, Elda, can you come and share how you got 20 recruits this month? And she's like, I don't know. I just did it. Like a lot of us are like, well, I just have a conversation, prospect more. And you have, 500 people on a call that are like, wow, thanks for nothing, Samantha. That was awful information. Or just feel like super disempowered because they think, oh, it's because the magical unicorn lives inside that person. In this different setting, it's been incredible because they just start talking to each other like friends. They'll be like, well, yeah, I started collecting stories of people that are on our team and how I changed their life. So, I put a story about that for 30 seconds in my Instagram story. Duh. I'm like, hello, what do you mean, duh? You've shared none of this before. What do you mean you're collecting testimonials on your team? Like, where was that information when I asked you to get on the team call and share that? They don't think about it. But in this little mastermind setting where they're just chatting with each other, they are dropping absolute flame-throwing bombs. So that has been wildly powerful. And then on top of the actual content inside of it, they do have a chat with each other, where what's been really cool is a lot of them, after that very first month, went, 5 is not the standard for me anymore. 5 was too easy. Mine is 10. And then for some people, it turned to 20. And then now for still to get in the roundtable, it's only 5. Okay. But they are competing so much with each other because they respect each other. So it's almost like you've taken them away from some of their, quite frankly, toxic uplines, not me. Okay. You've taken them away from like the and you've put them in a group of people that are like-minded and also driving really aggressively forward. At the beginning of each month, they do have a image that gets made that says, like their name and then recruiting roundtable. So that's what gets circulated throughout the team. It's very, very heavily edified. And so we ended last month with 4 people who had 30 personal recruits, 30. That's never happened. Okay. We have never, that has been like the Jesse Lee thing. That has never happened before. My goal I set with them for the year, I said, I want every single person on the entire company leaderboard it better be Jesse Lee, #1 recruiter. And then it better be the back 9 better be every single one of you. So we have like this big goal, right? And they are driving like crazy. And then even inside of that, then it's been, how do we onboard these people? How do we get these people more involved? They're telling each other things like, I personally invited every single person to the team event. I personally invited every single one of these new people into our system. I personally invited every single one of these new people into the team call this week, etc. So instead of focusing so much on this, quite frankly, low energy blood, where maybe it's because I'm past my 5-year itch now, where I was starting to feel a little like distant, like the magic was starting to wear off with the original people, right? It's starting to get totally rejuvenated with the people that are inside of this. And so that is system number 1 that completely shifted everything in the last 4 months. The amount of people who were like, I am not missing that. And every week, of course, we post the story of that call. And so people are like, I'm coming for it this month. I post recruiting leaderboards multiple times throughout the month. That's pretty much the only leaderboard I'm consistently posting now. So it's the one thing that's over and over and over again being edified. It's just growing very rapid fire because people are seeing that's the one thing she's talking about. Okay, let me read. And then I want to answer questions around that before I go to the next thing, if that's cool with you guys. Yeah. Okay. You have a group like this called The Table. I feel like the standards need to be raised, but when I do it, we have so many less people that make it. I'd rather have more people that can grow into the group because it's powerful. How do I create an even higher group of the top people and stretch them a little more? I mean, I think you kind of answered your own question. Like, well, okay. For me, it's this year, my personal word is joy. And so I am not spending time with people, places, things, events, anything that do not bring me joy. Okay. I have not been getting joy out of running these stupid core rank calls for years. Okay. Like I'm done. It does not bring me that does not bring me joy. It does not bring me joy to body drag people to get 2 recruits or whatever. I don't want to do those calls anymore. It's driving me batty answering questions about how to log into stuff and all of these things that I've just outsourced like crazy. If you are loving that, so maybe you can create a second group where it's like, the top people that do the 5 recruits, the 10 recruits, whatever your standard is for the table. I love that. If you're enjoying what you're doing, I think do that. That's what I would coach you on. But for me, I was starting to, quite frankly, get animosity towards our team. I could feel myself feeling almost anxiety when I would step into a team call, like, here's these people who just want to hear me talk again for the next 45 minutes, and then do nothing. And I wanted to surround myself with the people who are actually going to drive this business forward, because I don't think that 2023 and beyond, in the next couple of years as we move forward, is going to be accelerated by people who just want me to hold their hands and tell them how amazing they are when they're not actually doing many amazing things. So if you're loving it, Priscilla, I would just say you keep doing that. Okay. 6 sales, if they hit 8, they can invite someone. See, I wouldn't like that because then there's favoritism involved. Like personally, if they hit 6, then they hit 8 and they get to invite someone that they choose. For me, I wouldn't like that. I think everything has to be an actual standard. But again, you do whatever you like to do. The leaderboard is visible to every single person. Absolutely, Frederica. So that is the one leaderboard I post all the time inside of our overall team group. I also will send that out through any communication channels. So it goes through our Telegram. I also use a texting service for our team every single week as well. And then we also have a company app. So those are the names that are being edified. And it's very telling, the leaders that are still involved in their business who are like, oh no, I am not on that board. If people are my team's going to see me with my 0 recruits and they're going to know. And so it's really up-leveled the entire organization. So the incentives have not been anything crazy, interestingly enough. So every single Joy is Priscilla's middle name, I know. So I'm working with Ed Milet this year. He's my business coach this year. So I bought a bajillion of his books, and so the first month I gave them his book, but I also hand wrote a note on the inside of it, and then some little business thing. So it could have been like, maybe I got like really cool pens or something, and I gave them that, or maybe it was an actual, like a tripod or something. So it was nothing crazy, because these aren't people that are stuff driven. These are people who are business driven. So they want stuff that's actually going to build their business, drive their business forward with a personal touch. At all events, they will have recognition as well. So the recruiting roundtable will be brought on stage at our team event. We did Rent and Worry Studios for that. So that's next month. I can't believe it's next month already. Oh my gosh. So next month at Worry Studios, we will be having that, and they will be walking the stage for that. So incentives like that, it's just more of kind of like a recognition. And it's really great to see also so many of the international people also pushing for this, even though English is not even their first language, or if some of them don't speak any English, doesn't matter. So I'm in another mastermind. I bring all my notes to them, cook a meal, and meet in person. Oh yeah, you told us about that before. I heard that on this call. Okay. If they don't recruit 5 next month, are they out of the table? Yes. Goodbye. Absolutely. It is a standard. So the cool thing is the people that keep saying 5 is not my goal anymore. Anyway, I don't care. I'm having 12. I'm having 20. I'm doing 15. I'm doing whatever. Because in the past, I would be the pushover who's like, but you were so close, so close, so close. And it's not serving the business. It's just not. And I know I've I don't know how else to explain this. Network marketers, we're so nice. We are the biggest pushovers ever. And I started kind of joking around, but then I realized I wasn't joking when I say it. I'm like, can you imagine? I'm like, can you imagine if some of your downlines spoke to Jeff Bezos the way that they speak to some of you, and the exceptions you make for these people, if they took it to Elon Musk or, name a Sarah Blakely or somebody like that? Ain't no way. You know what I mean? No way. Why are you even calling me about this? You're definitely fired now. I know we can't fire people. But I just think we swing so far. At least I did for sure. I swung so far on the pendulum of just love, 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 love everyone. And if we love them hard enough, then one day they're going to wake up and realize they want their life to be different. And I would bet you that every single one of you who has a business big enough to be part of the Next Level Mastermind, I'm going to guess nobody caressed you into this. I'm pretty sure you had that thing inside you that was a driver, that was, you want more, you believe in yourself more, you're going to take yourself to the next level. Now, sometimes you need gentler coaching and sometimes you need more direct coaching, and you don't want people being rude necessarily at all. I don't think it's rude to say, these are my standards, these are my boundaries, and in order to be in this group, it's 5. I've also gotten no pushback from it, and maybe it's because I deliver things really gently, even when it's pretty direct. But it's 5. You're out if you're out. If you're out, you're out. Okay, let me see. Are you doing this for your leaders from the downline for their people? So it's the overall team thing. Yeah, Carolina. So the whole team, it's the Empire's Recruiting Roundtable, which thank God, because, like I said, I'm at my 5-year or past 5 years now. And man, there are some orphans out there. They're big orphans, I mean, they're $1 million leg orphans, but there are orphans out there who have people at this point writing gigantic, $60,000, $80,000 a month checks. And I haven't seen those people in 4 or 5 years. So it's bananas, some of the stuff that happens, but thank God I've always been the person who, when some people say stuff that's so stupid, but they say stuff like, that's my team, stop talking to them. I'm like, oh no, see, I don't think you understand. It's also my responsibility as well. So I've always had, I've never, maybe if you were leading, I'm kidding. Maybe if you were leading. All right. So anyway, okay. So that's the recruiting roundtable. Any other questions around that before I go on to my next thing that's working really well? Is that useful, by the way? Okay. Just want to make sure. Cool.
Yes, I had a question, if it's okay. When you did your first one, how many people were in it and what has it grown to, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, we had 11 the first month and now we're over 20. So this is only the 3rd month. So that kind of growth does not happen. And it's not like we had any kind of big sales. We didn't have any kind of recruiting pushes. We didn't have anything special from corporate. If anything, I think our corporate office is taking a very long siesta. They're still napping somewhere in a different country. I think, I don't know where they are, which is fine. It allows me to kind of have even more autonomy over what I'm doing. But nothing special came out, no recruiting, anything. It's just, I think when you start to set a standard, then you uphold a standard and you show people, hey, it's not that difficult. Let's utilize the webinars. Let's upgrade the comp plan video. Tell me what resources you need. And I guess that's another thing you should know is that I didn't just leave them out there like, figure it. It was like, okay, well, if you're not recruiting, what do you need more of? So we implemented Ever Webinar, and we made, today actually is the day I update the compensation plan video for the entire team. And we taught people on different calls, some of the more directive things, like I mentioned, do this TikTok, or set up your profile like this, or grab testimonials from people in your organization, or even from customers that you've had support with, whatever. So that has been really, really powerful, and it excites me because just total transparency. I don't know, again, some of you have been in business way longer than me, so you can just please nod when I say this. It gets so boring after a while, where you're just looking at the same people over and over again, and you just know that it's not them. And you feel like you've put the whole backpack on your back, and you feel like you have to carry everybody through the desert on your own. I was starting to feel a little, like poo-poo about the business, even though the business is super successful. I just didn't feel any charm about it anymore. And so I was trying to bring some charm back into it. And I know I just know that's bringing in that next class. And so we do have language a lot around, class of 2023 now. We're using that language a lot because it just makes sense. But it's more like now we're saying, who's the class of January 2023? Okay, show me the class of February 2023. Who's the class of March 2023? And then now that the recruiting is so much higher, even, just almost immediately, putting those people kind of in those classes, so to speak. Like, okay, so these are the people that came in February and they're doing X amount of volume, and making sure that they're staying together and they're driving together and forward as well. So we do not do webinars actually mostly at all. No, Dan. Somebody just asked for that. They're like, can we please have a webinar? I'm like, yeah, whatever. Because we do have an opportunity event that was recorded, right? I did an opportunity event, 2 months ago or something like that. And it was really good. And it was translated into a bunch of languages. And so people wanted that, which is the only reason we did that. We very rarely will drive into a live opportunity event, because it just got crazy. Everything is actually through, okay, well, I'll just tell you, but I can't, it doesn't exist I can't give it to any of you because we're currently building it out anyway. So I got really tired of kind of what you're saying too, this whole one-on-one, whatever. And then also on top of that, boards to me is interesting because you give people the scripts to say, and I don't know if you can agree with me on this, but I started looking at some of these scripts that they were sending, and I'm asking myself, where is that script from? Because that is not a script of mine. That is not in boards. Where did you get that? And the people go, oh, well, I just wanted to add a couple little things. So I used the button in boards, and then I wrote them a 17-page paragraph after. Like, I was just getting very frustrated, where it's just like, these people, where those scripts work? And so getting frustrated at kind of the breakdown of what was going on. So we actually, and my two business partners are actually here, but we started a software company. And so we do have a software now that actually runs them all through script by script. The person can say they're interested in money. They can say they're interested in whatever, and it answers literally every single one of their questions. And then at the back end, each person's links are customized. In the back end, it will close the recruit for them. And then if they do not get closed, the software also has a CRM on the backside where they can do all their follow up. It's not ready for white labeling or anything like that. We are only in month 7 of that right now, but that is what took our German team from $400,000 points a month in sales to $1 million in 2 months, because the German leader was like, we are going to use a system. He's up there, but he's super, super German, so he's not messing around. But so that has been a big game changer for us. I just think when you take out people's ability to screw up the systems that you've spent months and years and whatever creating, you get more compliance, quite frankly. So, but boards in the meantime was what we were using. I just watched so many people adding in too much extra stuff. So kind of AI. Yeah, we could talk about ChatGPT. Not kidding. That's not what I'm going to talk about right now. ChatGPT's wait list to get on right now is so long. But anyhow, okay. So any other questions about that? Yay. Okay, cool. All right.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I don't know how it works with the hand raising.
Oh, there's hands. Hi, Federica. I see a hand.
Yes. Hi. Yes. Hello, everybody. That's my first time speaking here. I joined in December, and it's been really very powerful. So thank you very much, everybody, for everything you share every time. I just have a question because I'm in a business where we don't distinguish between distributors and clients. Or customers. So when you say recruit, like 5 recruits, for example, or 10 recruits in order to get to the roundtable, I think you're talking about distributors, right?
Yes.
People who build the business. So I wanted to ask because we like the different challenges we build and stuff. It's a lot of the times we make it based on the volume they bring in because we're paid on the volume and not on the amount of people they bring in. So I just wanted to know, like, if you recommend, like, for this type of business that we do challenges based on the number of people they bring in or in the number of volume they bring in, like what would be more beneficial?
Sure. I have some clarifying questions. Can you see who's a distributor and who's a customer, or no?
No.
You can't tell. Okay. So in your case, you definitely have to do it around volume, but I would challenge you to do it around new volume. So yes. Yeah, that's how I would have that set up for sure. And that's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, because like, let's say someone brings in $20,000 they can bring in 20,000 with one person or with like 20 people. So
Right.
it's kind of unfair. Maybe like somebody really recruited a lot and recruited like 20 people and brought in 20,000, and another one just brought in one person and recruited 20,000 volume. So I don't really know.
So you might have to have like kind of one-off conversations. That's the only other way I could see that you could do it. You couldn't rely on a back office for that, but you could for sure reach out to each of those individual people and say, hey, how many of these people are actual distributors? Or like people are saying, maybe corporate can run a report for you and let you know.
I had the solution to that. So when you're a lead, because when you're a leader, you want everybody to know that you made somebody like sign up with you, right? So like with our highest ranked Telegram, anytime they make a personal sale, that leader will update the leaderboard for the whole thing. So like we have like a leaderboard at the beginning of every month. They just copy it, repaste it. So let's say, we have like most of the people on our call that are on our team, there's a leaderboard right now, like in our top chat. And once they get a new recruit, they'll just copy that Telegram link, paste it, and then they'll update the own leaderboard with their personal recruits. So that's how we've been able to do it. And everybody loves doing that. And it's super accurate. So we've been doing that for like a couple of years now.
Okay, thank you.
Nice.
Thanks.
Paula, I think you had your hand up next. And thanks, Colton. Appreciate that. Oh, so no, Paula doesn't have a question. Okay, Ina.
I have a question. Thank you. I have a question. Hi, guys. Jesse, how to communicate with the top leaders who you said that don't wanna let you to communicate with their people?
Oh.
Because this is my like super big issue, because like I'm number one female position in my company, but many people are playing, this is my team, don't touch it. And if I want to do something like really big or some kind of this promotions to really see this different lines to compare to each other and everything. But I have this big moment that my leaders that just please don't touch it. It's my energy, it's my people, and etc. Even though I coming with great proposition, even from Mastermind, I was like, come on, guys, I'm spending a lot of money for top leaders in the world. I have many ideas. They just don't let me implement it in their teams. This is my big issue, and companies support them, So, and I've been even talking to the company. Is like, come on, guys, I can bring more stuff because I'm paying for a lot of information and I know it works because I tried with my direct teams, yes, and they see there is growth. It's like, we respect that, blah, 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 but we cannot, if leader says, this is my team, you cannot go there, blah, blah, blah. So this is my big issue which I'm fighting literally. And if you have guys suggestions, what you do, or you just see what you said, and I was like, oh, I need to ask that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we can collaborate on that. The scary part of everything you said to me is that your corporate office is telling you have to leave it alone too, which means there's probably something in your policies and procedures that says that a leader is allowed to say something like that to you. Like that doesn't exist in our company. And also I think from day one, I set the standard of like, I'm going to talk to people. And at this point, it's like these people, I've built them checks to no exaggeration. Like I said, I think the smallest person that just has like abandoned ship, but didn't want me originally to talk to their people. It's like, there's the smallest check is probably 30,000 a month, and I work entirely with their team. So in your case, I think it's a little like, I don't really know how to give you advice if your corporate team is telling you, hey, go away from those people.
There is no legal stuff like that. This is just suggestion,
Oh, okay.
I feel this is like about ego of the leaders, like I want my people to be great, but I need to provide them, I'm like a person, oh my God, you want to learn from Jesse Lee or whatever, Eric, where you go, learn, spend money, make the volume, bring the ideas. Oh my God, for me, it's wow. But I feel that this is like ego, what we are talking about, but the funny part is that even owners of the company are talking to me, okay, let them see, let them fail, but I don't want to, because it's my team also, like it's team what making me volume and money. I don't want to let them, but what was your communication, for example? So it was soft but straight. Because
yeah, I like what's happening in the chat as well, because this is definitely my approach as well. So, but there's a couple things. So for me, incentives go for everybody, no matter what. Okay. So because I can't only communicate with certain lines of business or whatever, people like if I send out it's called pulse. If I send a pulse out to our entire team, no matter who they are, they're going to get caught in the Jessie Lee net. So they're going to see that there's an incentive for recruiting roundtable. They're going to see Jessie Lee's running a trip to Colombia. They're going to see Jessie Lee's doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G. They're going to be involved in the incentives. Something I've done to get rid of these crazy egotistical leaders, because I've had that. And I really agree with this. Find new leaders, because if you find new leaders who see the vision, who catch the vision, who run with the vision, who are excited about it, it's amazing how sometimes that will bring people into the fold. Because they go, wait a minute, hold on. Like, she's doing all these things. She got this training from John Remza or from the Zaleckis or from Rakan or whoever, and it's working so well. She took this from Colton. Like, they're going to want to get around the sauce. Like, that's 100% a real thing. But this is actually a part of a system I do for incentives that might help you guys. And it might help you kind of answer your question too, Ina, because I want to incentivize people that are doing the right thing. However, I don't like to incentivize a-holes. Okay. And so I was trying to come up with a way where I could, give attention to the people that are doing well on the team and people that are on the same mission as us. So I don't know if any of you have this issue where you're like, I don't want to even give them their incentive because they're mean or whatever, because, we're human and we have that. So what I've done is anytime there is an incentive outside of, top in sales, top in recruiting, this kind of stuff, I don't care who you are, I'm sending you flowers and whatever my standard gift is for that rank every month. Like, it's just going out. And it's even automated. I don't do it. I don't touch it. I don't even know who the people are. I don't care. It's part of one of my assistants. So one of my assistant's jobs, same thing with birthday cards, like boom, it's just done. But in order to earn a trip with me or any big incentive, it's not only the metrics. So call it car earner, call it 50,000 in points, whatever the thing is you guys are running, but they have to contribute to the team 4 times a month. And contribution can look, you get to set this. So we have a very international team, 41 countries, maybe more now, which means it's a lot of languages. So contribution could just be, I translate the team call every week in Spanish. Perfect. 4 contributions done. Okay. It could be, I took the English PDF and I turned it into German. Great. It could be, I am going to work on a committee for Empire U, the next event. Okay, that's more than 1 contribution. That takes a lot of time. It could be like I gave, so Jenny came up with the 90-day run game plan that she shared with you guys. I gave Jenny 10 contribution points for that. So it can look however you want it to look. But that way, when it gets to a trip, if somebody goes, well, I earned the trip and then she didn't even invite me. And you're sitting there like, what are you talking about? Or maybe you really didn't. I can say, oh, no. Like, you actually missed an entire section of the trip. The trip was achievement and contribution. So that's helped a lot with the crazy ego stuff. I don't know if anybody else wants to talk on that. It looks like Rakan does. I'm not shocked. So Rakan wants to tell you what he would do with these people. So I'm a little nervous, but go ahead.
What do you mean you're not shocked, Jessie Lee?
I just feel like this is something you have an opinion on. That's all, Rakan.
Of course I have look, I've dealt with a lot of egotistical people on my team. Arabs have this thing with ego. Jessie Lee, don't laugh. And my biggest team in the Middle East, they came in during COVID. So it wasn't, in my belief, it wasn't a real volume. It was COVID volume. I've noticed a lot of I've had leaders that make over 100 grand in 1 month. And I started noticing that, they start branding themselves and kind of taking themselves out of the organization equation, which to me is not really bad, because I kind of did the same thing from my upline, but I took my upline's consent. Not consent. I took my upline's, like, I don't want to say approval, but I just made him see, eye to eye, because I never want to do anything that would go against my uplines or their visions, even though if we think in a very different, me and my upline, like Jessie Lee have met my upline, we think very different, talk very different. 2 separate cultures. And one of the things that I've done is that for me to be able to keep controlling or having everybody, I loved when Jessie Lee said under the net, to keep everybody under the same net. I've always done something special that they wouldn't be able to do. Like one of the smallest things that I've done, because I've noticed that they stopped promoting one of the major calls for the team, right? Oh, my team has their own calls, blah, blah, blah. So I started bringing guest speakers that they can never bring to a call, right? I was like, hey, look at this week, guys, we have, I've got, Jesse Lee was one of them. And I've had a lot of people, and then I started reaching out to very famous air people that it requires sometimes a payment for us, and then I make connections with them to the point where they just came in for free for a call, and the team they're not able to not miss it. And then I promote it because I know the majority of my team is following me on social media, and I know they're watching what I do, they're watching what I say. So sometimes on these big calls, I promote it on my Instagram. So now the downlines are seeing, and I've seen this, they take a screenshot of it and they send it to the uplines. Why can't we get this call? Right. And then it created them to just fold back and to come back and somewhat in line with the organization. And then I have my opinion about leaders with ego. They will have, they always have, a lot of the times they have to learn their own lessons. Like I know one of my leaders had to be punched so hard for them to come aligned. Like one of my leaders lost 3,000 people in 48 hours. Like it was the funniest thing ever. And I'm very calm because, I know it's my volume, but I saw his face once he lost it. He very fast went back in line. He's like, bro, I need your help. Oh, welcome back, brother. Welcome back. Now we can talk. And, I've helped him kind of come over that. And then we've helped make some campaigns and, so it's leaders that with ego, they'll either get punched from business and they'll come back in line, or you just create something to just keep somewhat their downlines in that they're not completely separate or living. I used to have a very interesting approach in this. This is why Jesse Lee made the comment. I'm very, what's the word, Jesse Lee?
You're just direct. You're very direct.
Yeah. I just don't. I don't like fluffing stuff. I just give it to me and let's go over with our lives. And a lot of the people that I've had never liked this. And then I lessened it, and I felt like this is just not who I am. And I just don't like building business with. I like building business to represent who I am as a person. That's just my personality. So I feel like I've changed my personality. It didn't work out. I went back to who I was. Some people will like it, some people don't. But I just know that as long as I keep the whole organization under the same umbrella and I'm doing things they can't do, they'll always be in line. So.
Yeah, that's a really good reminder. Thanks for reminding that. Same kind of thing. Like there were people who said, we're doing this, Empire U event coming up next month. And like I have the lineup is crazy. Like it's like proper celebrities that are in the business space coming. And people are like, how did you get Wes Watson? I'm like, you can come, you could come, you could come, or, asking questions like that. I'm like, this is my friend circle. So kind of same thing. Kind of like a little bit of a, hey, like Jesse Lee's the one with the network, not you sort of thing. And so same thing with Rakan. I forgot about that. That's a really good point as well, Rakan. And then Javier, either a question or comment.
Yes, hi guys. Javier Ramos from Mexico. I have a question. What would be your recommendation to rise the performance in our organization? Several of our leaders, they do the minimum to earn to get their income. Their earnings are very good. They satisfied all their needs. They are very happy with their income, but we are very excited about the new vision, and they don't add to that vision. So like we want to know, what was your recommendation to explode the vision in them or to get rid of them?
Well, this is exactly why I started the recruiting roundtable. Like this, brings you right back to why I started this call. Like I felt exactly like you felt. Why are you people writing the checks of these people? Like, why will you not even help your team? Why am I having to do it? Like, I was getting so agitated with these people. And I'm like, why am I letting these people irritate my spirit? Like, I just need to go out there and find new people and find people that want to run and find people that maybe they're not attracting good people, but they're getting 5 people a month. I'm going to pour into those people, because maybe they're recruiting, not the best people. So what? I was very rough around the edges at first. So, there's hope for all of us. But that fixes your problem. The leaders doing the minimum, stop trying to turn them into people who care. That's my honest, very direct, very bold advice. They don't care right now. And I'll tell you why. Here's why, guys. Every single one of you, when you started in business, do you remember the level of energy you had? And it's because no matter who you are sitting on this call, you were running from something. Like, I really believe this. There was something in your past that you did not like and you were running from it. Maybe it was the job. Maybe it was the bill collectors. Maybe it was an ex-partner of yours. Maybe it was your past in general. You were running like hell to get away from whatever this was. And for some of you, it still feels like it's right here, which is the only reason why some of you are still running like crazy. Okay. For the rest of us, life is good. Just like your leaders, you literally just said their check is fine. They never thought that their life was going to be as good as it is. There is no pain involved right now. There is a lot of comfort. There is a lot of, well, I could someday ride in a private jet, but like, it's not that important, Javier. So chill out about it. I could someday spend, $10,000 and go do blah, blah, blah. I could go buy this real estate. I don't know, because this doesn't hurt anymore. This is like so far detached from where they are in their life. You're trying to remind them of something when they're sitting there like, why would I pay to be part of Eric's mastermind? Life is freaking good. Now you want to take $25,000 mine for what, Javier? For what? For what? Like, they don't see it. So the only thing that shifts this for some of you who are like, well, how do I fix that problem? This is me for some of you, right? You have to have something that pulls you. There has to be a much bigger vision, a much higher calling, a much bigger purpose than just the fancy cars, the shoes, the whatever. And if you want to give them a fighting chance, it's you need to talk to those people and have that conversation I just had, and or be done with it and find new people. Find out what the actual vision is, what's actually pulling them. It's like if you look at Tom Brady. People will talk about how Tom Brady is, the greatest quarterback of all time because he was drafted in the whatever round he was drafted in. I don't even remember. And he was mortified and he was going to be he wasn't even going to be a starter and all this stuff. And I will agree with you for a while. I think we can all agree that drove Tom Brady. It drove Tom Brady because he didn't want to be known as the kid. He wanted to prove it. He wanted to prove it. Well, at what point do you freaking prove it, man? We know it. We get it, Tom. Chill out. Because there's something bigger than just Super Bowls. There's something bigger than just winning another whatever. There's something about leaving that huge legacy behind. It wasn't about going back to football and losing his marriage and whatever, all this huffy puffy BS stuff people talk about. There's a higher calling on that man's life. He is very clear about where he's going. It's the only reason you push yourself. So those of you that are at like 20, 30, 50, 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, whatever it is a month, it will never be the money. The money is never going to satisfy you. People are always going to say that. You've got to go, what is it out here? What is it out here? So you can have that conversation with them, but I think a lot of us need to have that conversation with ourselves because a lot of us are also not pushing, if we're being super honest, right? That's why I wanted to create the roundtable, is I wanted to find the people who still had the hunger, partially in a selfish way to help me dig even deeper and find the hunger for the network marketing business again. Just like out of total transparency. Sorry, no, I'm not sorry, but that was my little mindset tangent for you guys today. Do with that what you will. But
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Can I add, Jesse Lee?
Yeah.
So I love Jesse Lee kind of talked about the inspiration part. I think I've divided that into two parts. I just came back from Dubai recently, and every time I go to Dubai, there's a very specific demographic that I chill with. That are like they're 10 times bigger than me, income-wise, right? And they're older than me, right? I'm the youngest out of all of them, but it's like two Arab billionaires. It's these people that would go somewhere, like they would go to places and spend 10 grand on food. And I'm like, brother, I'm not spending no $10,000 on food. It's just, I'm rich, I'm not stupid. But I come back and I'm like, I'm so broke. So I guess, yes, from the inspiration standpoint, I love that. But let's just say, this I'm talking for me as a personal, because I feel like there's not many people in my company that are bigger than me. I only have one guy. I'm number 2 in the company. So I only have really one guy that is on top of me. And as long as I'm making money, he's going to make money. So it's going to be probably like impossible for me to make more money than him. But I don't really care because I feel like I've exceeded him in different levels. But I'll tell you how I kind of smacked my team recently. So I told him, I'm like, it was late at night and I was on something with my shisha beside me. And I told him, I'm like, listen, I can probably create, they created a call and they put like 1,000 people on it, like an opportunity call. I'm like, that's it. Like this is all y'all powers. This is what God gave you guys. You guys are happy about 1,000 people on a opportunity call. I'm like, I bet you guys I can do a call, promote it for 1 week, and I can put 4,000 people on a call. So anyways, like Rokan, you haven't been in the field, you haven't been this, you haven't been recruiting. And I'm the type that, any lead that I get, I'll give it to certain people. I don't really recruit directly a lot, but I'll make sure these signups are happening because I get a lot of leads on my Instagram. And with 1 week promotion, I like pushed TikTok, I pushed Instagrams to the limits. I had a call with 4,500 people that were on my live. And it wasn't really a direct opportunity. It was like 2 hours of like an hour of value. This is how you think 10 years. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. This is how you do this. And at the end, I'm like, here's how I've created it. Here's the company. And this is, I did this on Sunday. Today is Wednesday. I already have 100 signups. So my team is looking at me like, this dude is nuts. And I keep updating, like it's in the chats. I am just rubbing it in their face. And I've noticed that I told them in this in chat, and I'm like, I bet you guys haven't tested your powers recently. And I know 100% that some of you guys will not be able to put 500 people on a call. If you're just inviting by yourself, and I'm not talking team inviting, I'm not talking none of your downlines, just you, your social media, and you show me your powers. I've had some people try and they had like 200 people on a call. I'm like, well, this is how you know your powers. So it has pushed the teams that have been on the $10,000, $20,000 mark that are just, yes, life is good, as just Lee said, to like go test the powers, and they're getting like some reality checks. Oh, like I'm not like this is not COVID times. This is not Corona no more. So I think I felt like slapping the team once at a time, just show them that, hey, like if I want to, I'd slap all of you guys upside down. My upline used to do this at the gym. Take us to the gym. I'm like, I bet I can lift more than all of you guys. It has nothing to do with the network marketing, but like I bet I can beat all of y'all. And it just kept him like in a sense ahead.
Yeah.
But
so I want to give you more if you guys are okay with that. So I'm going to switch subjects into another thing that's working really, really well. If you guys are down with that, thank you, Rakan. So what I've noticed inside of this as well with this kind of like we're mentioning, it's not COVID anymore. We have to get back to teaching these people how to actually run business, because the placeholder volume or fluffy volume or whatever we want to call it is just not there anymore. And so we're going to find out who can really build business in 2023, I think, and excited about that, honestly. But I want to tell you a pivot that I've made inside of our team. And so team call, same flow as always, except I have gotten really, really intentional and really, really good at doing tactical workshop training. Okay. So I think what we've turned into, and this is, I kind of mentioned it before with the other people in our organization, but a lot of people just like to get on calls and hear themselves talk. Oh, I read this motivational quote from Jim Rohn, and then they just go on a motivational talk for 45 minutes or an hour, and people are just, seeing stars, and they get off the call. Like, what did I learn? And so I decided to make a shift into calls being super interactive and super engaging. And if you're not going to actually work on the call, there's no point in being on the call. So it's not the same thing as a power hour at all. This is tactical workshops. So I did one multiple times now. I did it at my event I had this last weekend in Cabo. We did it a little bit. I also did it on I did it on our team call. I did it on my accelerator call. I did all this stuff. And I do it on more than just one subject, but one I just did. And I do have recruiting roundtable, by the way, in 2 minutes. I'll like try to cut it off right at noon Central. But I did marketing. And so I taught people exactly how to properly market. So I gave them a workshop, which is number 1, identify the enemy. Number 2, poke the bear and antagonize. And number 3, I know I'm going fast, but y'all are smart. Number 3 is to offer a solution. And I said, if every single time you do these 3 things, and every single post you make, every single live you do, every single TikTok or reel you do, you will generate a ton more leads. And so then I made them workshop it out. So I've done different ones before because I'm like hot on TikTok and YouTube right now, because I took people to Colombia and apparently people thought that I was trying to kill my downline. I'm back in the throes of anti-MLM again. But anyway, I'm really excited about it because business is a booming. But I used myself as the example yesterday on my accelerator call. I was like, all right, common enemy is Jessie Lee Ward. Is there anything worse than her? And I made them go through actual marketing language. Like, tell me why, sell me why we hate this woman, right? Give me like the 3 most egregious things about her, and then offer me a solution. So give me a call to action. So we're actually workshopping out. Exactly how people can use their language. I've also used Donald Trump. I said, is there anything worse than Donald Trump? Give me the 3 reasons. And then when the people are like, but I love him, I'm like, all right, let's do Joe Biden. Is there anything worse than Joe Biden? Give me the 3 crazy things, and then close it, right? So you're teaching them calls to action. You're teaching them how to think a little bit differently. You're teaching them how to engage their audience. You're teaching them how to you're teaching like it would be like, as an example, I'll give you one, I'm trying to go quickly, but so it wouldn't just be, he can't ride a bike. So see, I'd workshop it out with them. Is there anything worse than Joe Biden? He is so old and decrepit that he tried to ride a bike and fell over in the middle of a street. Are you really thinking that person is able to be our president? Now, like, that might sound crazy, but if you start using language like that in your team around your business opportunity, around solving the issue of bad water, Colton, and all the poisons and toxins, right? Or the energy levels that people do or do not have, right? Or their focus, or their, they're not dressed right for whatever, or their house stinks, or I'm trying to look at your guys' faces and give you, company examples, or their financial situation is in disarray. I did a marketing workshop, and then now I don't have time because I ran out of time. Sorry, but I guess you'll just have to have me come back for more. I'll be back in 2 weeks. No, I mean, I'm just kidding. I'll be on the call in 2 weeks, but you know what I mean? The call I'm doing this week for them is actually through sales. So I'm going to workshop with them a perfect sales pitch. So like the 7-step process, in my opinion, of a perfect sales pitch, what I always use, but I know they're not understanding it at like that visceral, they feel it kind of level. Right. And so, so I don't know if that was too fast, but like, marketing strategy is just common enemy, greatest enemy, poke the bear, antagonize, and then a call to action. But I've just been doing a lot more of these trainings that are not just me sitting and talking at these people and I don't care about motivation anymore. Like, it's not moving the volume. Okay. I want these people to be weaponized salespeople, crazy marketers, incredible recruiters. I want them to understand how leadership actually works. I want them to understand how to actually promote to an event, and just workshopping it out with them has been a shift we've made in our training. And I can't even tell you the energy that has come out of that. They feel so empowered because they feel like they can leave the call and write a post. They can leave the call. They can do the live. They can leave the call. They know exactly what to say. And when you're doing the workshop live in a chat with, hundreds of people, or call it 20 people, I don't know how large your teams are, they can have the whole chat is going. So then if the people who are like, I'm so bad at this, I don't even know what to type, the team is literally spoon feeding them exactly what they should say, exactly how they should sell, exactly how they should recruit, exactly how they should do everything. So again, if you don't know me, hi, I'm Jessie Lee. Thanks so much for having me on here today. Thank you for sharing, those of you who did. Appreciate y'all. I will see you soon, I'm sure. And I have to go to the recruiting roundtable now and talk to these amazing people with their 30 recruits last month. So God bless y'all. I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.
Great job today, Jessie. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.